In Bali, people say that at the dawn of time, the human spirit gave life to monkey masks. Some became men, others remained monkeys and became their slaves. But one day, men forgot the mysterious force which had given them life. To find it, modern man studies the bodies of monkeys, uses them in experiments, and never finds anything. The ancients, growing up in traditional cultures, didn't need to cut up a monkey to find out about themselves. For them, the human spirit was caged in this animal body. A cage from which it sought to escape, a cage locked by the four elements of nature: air, water, fire, and earth. As everything in nature is logical, the monkeys born under the earth sign live with their feet firmly on the earth. In Africa, in Kenya, dog-headed baboons chose to live on the ground on terra firma. Trees are not made for them. They only climb them to eat, to protect themselves from leopards, and to sleep. According to African traditions, there are three ways of receiving the benefits of Earth. The first, most primitive way consists in possessing its wealth like a good-for-nothing. It's obvious that nature made this monkey to be a hooligan. The baboon's voracity is their driving force all day and all night too. Using a powerful light to pierce the mysteries of their nocturnal habits, we learnt that there are two distinct phases. During the first, they are agitated, intent on displaying their sexual prowess. And then, at about 2 o'clock in the morning, the second phase begins. Much calmer, the baboons finally get to sleep all huddled together, somewhat uncomfortably for some. This is what having a highly developed gregarious instinct means. By day and night, baboons always live in groups with 20 to 200 members, rather like gangs of hooligans. These monkeys are not generally considered to be particularly intelligent. However, their gregarious instinct is so marked that it enables them to pass on information on a genius level. Ideas which in their cerebral night appear sometimes very bright. We've observed this hooligan genius in the north of Kenya close to Lake Nevacha, where baboons driven out of many areas because of their raids on crops have been relocated. In this area, we noted the emergence of totally new feeding habits. It started very gradually. Like all the sedentary animals, the baboons settled near the waterholes. Initially, they were low down the pecking order, fragile, wary. But after a few weeks, the primate specialists began to see them eating meat every day. Baboons do not normally eat meat. The explanation apparently is that as there are no carnivorous big game predators in this region, the baboons have developed their taste for meat and become incredibly voracious. In just a few months, the baboons switched over to eating meat at every meal. Firstly, they taught themselves to hunt, and these skills were passed on to the whole pack. They even perfected specific techniques. Their behavior has changed completely. Now the baboons do not hesitate to travel over 3 kilometers to hunt for at least 2 or 3 hours. Cooperating intelligently, they relay each other at specific places to beat for hares they catch live and then savor by devouring the belly first. When they were relocated in Kenya, the acquisition and transmission of new habits were observed. Just like, due to a mysterious change, Homo erectus also learnt to hunt and pick up food. How do they find the holes at first glance? Are they holes made by termites, snails, or earthworms? Baboons learn from examples, just as the native children learn by watching how things are done by their parents. This is how they learn to find treasures hidden in Mother Earth's pockets and extract each precious item without difficulty. This moment is sacred, the last hour before night. The Kenya waterfalls reveal their sacred nature. All along the river and in all the waterholes in the area, it is the only hour when you cannot hear meat being chewed. This goose is fearless. Nobody gets eaten at the drinking time when all the animals come to the water. Everyone is on the lookout. Even if they behave like hooligans and spend all their time plundering, baboons take advantage of the ceasefire to observe. They drink while taking careful stock of everything going on and assess their own strength. They also observe the strengths of their friends and their enemies, and their intended prey. A good hooligan knows everything, and above all is aware. War breaks out again the next day. Is this fight for real or a game? Basically both. Initially, there are the small brawls of teenagers, a subtle training in learning their own strengths and those of their adversaries. Later, as they grow, the fights become more serious. Social predominance, especially among the males, has to be asserted, defended, and reasserted all the time. Strife is constant. Anything goes to grab power. Fights are not random. They are generated by repeated taunts and frustrations. Baboons live in an environment in which threats and submissions are everyday events from childhood. Although males usually take the greatest care of them, even babies can be the victims of this violence. For here, infanticide is a way of life for some males. Indeed, like other monkeys who live in harems, chiefs carve out their place with violence, and the brawls which herald the arrival of a new master are politically important moments for the females. The difference here with baboons is that the females are also likely to lose the child fertilized by the previously dominant male. If the baby is not yet weaned, it will be killed by the new chief. Is the ceaseless use of physical force the only way to grab and keep power? Not always. From childhood, baboons learn that authority can also be acquired by alliances, associations, and coalitions. As none of these pacts is stable for long and it's always necessary to renegotiate, this preoccupation is virtually political. Earth monkeys are brought up with this attitude. To be a good baboon, you have to have long teeth. When the infants take part in fights, they are generally too young to be maltreated. To resemble this swaggering great brute, they start to affirm their virility early, very early. Then, when teenagers, they seek their leader, their bodyguard to some extent. One of these teenagers, to show submission to the dominant male, tries to present his posterior to the chief, who refuses the responsibility. He is just not interested. But he does agree to become the protector of the second. This baby is learning, also by experimenting, just how important the art of grooming will be in its life. If baboons perform the grooming ritual so often, it is because it has many functions. Initially medical, to detach old skin, eliminate lice and parasites and so on. But baby also learns that these interminable mutual grooming sessions are a wonderful way to get to know the females better. If the mothers have a court of several males, all on very friendly terms, it is because the males protect them and their babies. You need protection in a hooligan society. Babies learn about sex and procreation very early on. The hierarchies of sexual intercourse in baboons is complicated to say the least, but one thing is sure. If it's a male and you're a female, all you can do is submit. In addition to its medical and social role, grooming also has a tactile function. By touching each other, baboons gain confidence. It's a means of communication which dispels tensions within the group. Earth monkeys meet up in large gatherings like Scottish clans. It is their sheer numbers which help them develop their range of skills. Predators and gatherers, members of the same large tribe, baboons became hooligans to organize their survival. In the countries of the famous tom-toms of Burundi, an old man said that during his lifetime he had never needed to go to see the neighboring village. What he meant was that his people lived in such close communion with the spirits of the earth that any journey seemed superfluous. The natives never met the mountain gorillas, which live above them at altitudes of up to 3,500 meters in a strange universe of giant vegetation and fog. They respected the gorilla from a distance, for it was the main character in many legends. He too belonged to the first earth sign. Gorillas took their due, but gently. In that time, gorilla hunting did not exist. Then it became fashionable to make ashtrays out of stuffed gorilla hands. And household lamps out of their skulls. A stuffed gorilla was always welcome in a museum, and if, somebody was selling a live baby, there was always a zoo ready to buy it. Gorilla hunting and the black market for collectors started when the white men arrived. The tales of explorers from the 19th century made us believe that King Kong was a monster. It was only recently rehabilitated following patient observations. The horrible, bloodthirsty man was only a peaceful parent, 2 meters tall and 200 kilos in weight, totally dedicated to protecting his children. Now we are in a national park on the slopes of the Virunga volcanoes. Here, mountain gorillas can give birth in safety. The females protect their progeny with ferocious care. To repel intruders, they turn their backs and utter strident screams like singing exercises. At the beginning, only close relatives, brothers and sisters, are allowed to approach the child. If you are faced with a gorilla, especially a mother and her child, never make sudden gestures. To avoid a violent response and gradually win their confidence, one technique consists in going down on all fours close to them, to become as small as possible, and to growl very softly like the kids do when they feel safe. In fact, a side benefit of making this film was that we also learnt to grunt. After we had made our approach, a mountain monkey paused in the enormous efforts it was making to feed and came to look at its own reflection in the camera lens. Its baby was not interested in its reflection. The monkey children love to play and pull a special face called the play face, a sort of smile executed without showing the teeth, accompanied by jerky growls. Leaving her baby to fend for itself, Mum Gorilla decided to stay with the lens as she could see herself in it more clearly than in a puddle. Viewed from the other side of the camera, this contact with a huge anthropoid was unforgettable. Her eyes penetrate your very core and reveal something deeply human. Unlike almost all other animals, baby gorillas can recognize their own image by the time they are 5 or so. These large mountain monkeys, with whom we share 97% of our genetic makeup, are the last of their species and always threatened by extinction. To identify gorillas, primate specialists prepare identity cards using the lines around their noses. These lines are unique to each individual, just like our fingerprints, which gorillas' fingers don't have. And, very rare in animals, gorillas use their fingers to wipe their nose, just like humans. As for blowing their nose, that is reserved for man, whose children can only manage the delicate operation after the age of 3, and some never. The second earth sign, known to wise Africans, is that in which one tills the ground like a conscientious man. In monkeys, the only monkey of this kind is the chimpanzee, a specialist in tools, able to work like a craftsman. We met chimpanzees in Gambia and again in Tanzania. Depending on where they live, the food chimpanzees eat is extremely varied. They are basically vegetarian, sometimes supplemented by termites and ants. Even if the distance which separates two groups is only a few hundred kilometers, there are obvious differences in the way they acquire their feeding habits and the sort of tools they use to help them. For example, this chimpanzee decided today would be the day to gather the fruit from the baobab trees. The whole tribe agrees, and because his venture will be successful, this chimpanzee will durably influence his tribe's group memory and will be granted the title of precursor. The problem is that nobody's ever tried the fruits of this tree before and have even less idea about how to open them. The precursor's mission is to set the example. He will illustrate how, in a community, a technique is developed by one individual and then transmitted from generation to generation by training and imitation. This does not mean that under identical conditions to open the same fruit, another chimpanzee community would proceed in the same way or even succeed. The precursor now has a responsibility. The others all wait to see what happens. In experimental conditions, chimpanzees answer many tests admirably. They are capable of abstract thought, intention, invention, some calculations, and can memorize certain places. But nature's tests are never programmed, and our precursor must find the answer spontaneously. Will the precursor lose his bet? No. Here is the solution. This is how our chimpanzee became the precursor of its group. According to primate specialists, this training is a cultural behavior close to the way in which humanity evolved. Chimpanzees are currently at the point of animal evolution at which crop harvesting starts to be a very important aspect of social life. It took us many hours of filming to capture these images demonstrating the intelligence of chimpanzees. Every day, we went to the islands in the River Gambia in Senegal. We filmed from platforms built on the river, so the chimpanzees could not get near us. These monkeys may seem harmless, but you have to watch out for an attack. The old males especially can react unpredictably for mysterious reasons. There are many reasons for their irascibility. They can be of a sentimental nature. Chimpanzees are affected by the death of their friends, are curious and know the meaning of love, so why not anger too? And when they are angry, they do not mess around. This adult male reigns over 30 subjects. One day, we were filming one of the babies. Apparently, its father was not happy about that. It took us some time to realize he was very angry. Too late. The male charged, and look what happened. 2 chimpanzees landed in the boat, and we only just had time to escape. It was one of the precursors who had jumped on board. What imagination! To bring the boat closer to the bank, he pulled on the painter. With the boat held hostage, we started to panic. All our filming equipment was on board. When our invaders had calmed down, we made a body count. Gérard Vienne, the dominant male of the human expedition, had 2 broken ribs, and the list of material destroyed was impressive. Primate specialists say that chimpanzees and man have much in common. Their ability to recognize their own image and signs on a photograph, to count up to 5, to understand colors and asymmetric cerebral hemispheres, the origin of reading and writing faculties. Only man uses tools better. But man has become the slave of his tools, whereas chimpanzees have great fun in discovering and inventing them. Branches to fish out termites and ants from their underground nests. Wooden clubs as weapons in the event of danger, leaves which they bunch into sponges to collect water from hollows, stones to break tough husks or as weapons. The discovery of a new tool is pure pleasure. The do-it-yourself meetings can last whole days with, from time to time, around us, moments rich with a host of intelligent activities. Pharmaceutical, for example. This chimpanzee is drinking the urine of another tribe member to clear up a sexually transmitted disease. For him, urine is a very effective disinfectant. Many pastoral peoples use it too. Some new fruit has just arrived. You can almost hear the ideas of what to do with it churning away in the chimp's brains. There are hardliners and wets. Everyone is thinking. Here, a new precursor has found an anthill. It is hard as concrete. This apprentice craftsman has discovered the workbench. Once the solution has been found, everyone proceeds in the same way as mankind. There are energetic participants and the others, the born lazy. While some bang away on their stone, the others go to sleep. But the precursor is obstinate. He won't rest until he has found the right stone and the right gesture. Sri Lanka, Java, the islands of Indonesia, all lands torn from the body of the Indian subcontinent long before the dawn of humanity. However, the legend of Ramayana in the Hindu Bible relates this event dating back to the time when monkeys were the only protagonists in world history and the heroes. In fact, the monkeys of this faraway past had been born under the third earth sign, in which you dominate the earth so well that it sends you to the skies. At that time, the man hidden in the monkey had not yet emerged. He was still connected to the sky and spoke the language of the birds. In memory of this time, monkeys are revered in the Indian islands. Species as varied as the crimson monkeys, macaques and Hanumans all live together. Here you can see situations impossible elsewhere in the world. All these different monkeys play and rest together and have friendly contacts, like this crimson monkey which likes to be groomed by a macaque. See no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil. 3 famous counsels of wisdom by the Buddha, famous throughout the world, thanks to 3 monkeys which shut their eyes, their mouths and their ears. These 3 monkeys were illustrated by crab macaques, for these animals with their beards and moustaches look exactly like 3 sages. In Hindu astrology, crab macaques were placed under the influence of the planet Saturn, which gives them the appearance of an austere patriarch. The planet makes these monkeys very earth-centered, miserly and petty. Crab macaques live in big groups structured in castes. The future social rank of this baby in the tribe is already predetermined by the caste of its family, handed down from generation to generation. Its access to food will also be determined by its ancestors, depending on whether they belong to the dominant or subordinate castes. In Bali, the spectacle of monkeys who have become the ridiculous guardians of sites with impressive pasts is unique. Here, people say that each macaque born becomes the custodian of the 13,000 temples. According to Hindu tradition, the history of the universe is punctuated by cataclysms which put an end to one world and give rise to another. This is how the reign of the monkeys ended and that of man began. It is also how the cosmos erases each humanity and creates a new and better one. The most recent cataclysm was the flood, when the Earth moved before the constellation of Cancer. Cancer, crab. This is why these monkeys are called crab macaques, for even if they are supposed to adore shellfish, nobody has ever seen one eat a crab. The planet Saturn does have some positive points. It endows a quality which, although not pleasant, is nevertheless invaluable. Providence. Crab macaques eat everything and cache their food in secret places so they have something for a rainy day. When evening falls, the custodians of the temples hand over their responsibilities to other mysterious monkeys. In Bali, every dance has its secret. This one represents the drama of Ramayana, where all the protagonists are, once again, monkeys. The demon king has removed Sita, life, the wife of Rama, the sun, and taken her to the kingdom of the dead. Rama tries to save her by fighting the demon king, but loses. Will life be saved? This is when Hanuman, the god monkey, intervenes. Son of the wind and a goddess monkey, he's a musician and a warrior gifted with extraordinary powers. But will he succeed? The problem with this god is that he asks too many questions and hesitates. His mood wavers between enthusiasm and despair, suspense, and finally a happy ending. At the worst moment, in the nick of time, he makes a comeback and overcomes the worst adversities. Hanuman rescues life and returns it to the sun. The moral is simple. No cataclysm can conquer humanity if it keeps the meaning of life. For Tibetans, as for many Indian people, the descendant of this god is still alive. It is the Hanuman monkey. It has the gestures of an aristocrat, contemplative but merry. Like a noble warrior, his body is slim, his hands are fine, his legs are long. Very nimble, he can jump up to 5 meters, and his falls are vertiginous. Like the god Hanuman, he asks many questions. His long tail, shaped like a question mark, is 1 meter long and, according to Hindu sages, the ultimate answer to the great metaphysical questions. As you go through life, you ask more and more questions until the day when you ask no more. For the true answer is this question mark. Like the god Hanuman, he is an only child at birth and blessed by the goddesses, since all the females want to caress the newborn baby. His father, like the wind father of Hanuman the god, takes no part in bringing the child up. He's far too busy. Do these similarities between the Hanuman monkey and a god created by man have a meaning? Not for the primate specialist, of course. However, in India, people do go further. 9 million years ago, this monkey and man would have had the same direct ancestor called Ramapithecus. Thus, for the Indians, the Hanuman monkey is our beautiful mirror image, our closest animal brother. Hanumans are our last earth monkeys. They spend 80% of their time on the ground, where they often walk on 2 legs. They travel several kilometers a day in search of food. They are busy during the morning or late in the afternoon, and always have a siesta during the heat. Grooming is important in their social life and takes up to 5 hours a day. Hanumans live in many areas: Tibet, Nepal, Kashmir, Sri Lanka and the Himalayas. Widespread in India, they can be found near homes and in the temples where they reign as masters. Both curious and ferocious, they stay close to man as if they know they are protected by the gods. But not for long. Indeed, the swelling tide of humanity tolerates less and less all those thefts by the Hanumans. Even more serious, they are threatened by the destruction of their habitat as agriculture spreads. All these question marks are disappearing and cannot be restored. Humanity has stopped asking questions about the meaning of life, and so the blood of the earth is starting to flow abundantly. The monkey's territory is continuously reduced and replaced by a new policy: lands without people for people without lands. Mankind is dominating nature, but at the cost of 15 million hectares of forest destroyed each and every year. When our brother monkeys disappear forever, man will remain on the planet Earth alone. A Hindu proverb says, monkeys cry over others, never about themselves. So perhaps it's not the monkeys we should feel sorry for, but man. When the next cataclysm comes, will there still exist, somewhere in our hearts, a god monkey to save life?